Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate Marketing and Coffee. I hope you're having a wonderful day, whether you're tuning in to us live or watching on the replay. I am your host, Ed Troxel, and I'm here with my lovely co-host,
Amanda Candelius.
Yeah, and this is a mini series. You can see the description. It's a mini series that we decided to start a few weeks back as a response to the workshop that we were putting on for agents around building your referral business without paying for leads, which we do have another one coming up for you. And I'll just share that little promo real quick because we're here and we're talking about it. So just so you know, it is there. If you need a link, feel free to message us anytime. It's a quick 1.5 hour workshop. Be able to join either live or you can watch the replay, but you have to get your tickets in order to get that replay.
For sure.
And today, what we're going to be talking about is a sphere of influence, building your sphere of influence. What is a sphere of influence? Before we get to that, if you're new around here, you can watch us on Facebook or LinkedIn. We're trying to get the whole Instagram live thing over, but just so you know, this is the techie side, so you might not be interested, but you can't technically stream to Instagram live from your computer, at least not yet. But that doesn't stop me from thinking of all the ways of how we can make this work. So
Yeah, last week we had a very behind the scenes look, and I thought it was awesome. I was like, this is so cool because people get to see what we see when we're sitting here doing it. So that was super cool in my opinion.
Yeah, awesome feedback. And we'll try to do more of that stuff too, in the coming weeks. And if you have any questions around real estate, marketing, or coffee, we can give you
Hey,
those
we live in the
tips.
Pacific Northwest. We can claim experts on coffee.
Yes, that's right. That's right. But anytime, feel free to message us, whether you're watching the live or just on social in general. You can find us on every channel, and we'll be happy to answer your questions as well as share them here on the live show, which happens when, Amanda?
Mondays, 8 a.m. Pacific.
That's right. Yes, yes. So feel free to share any comments you have with us as you're watching, even on the replay. And let's go ahead and dive in. By the way, we make this as a talk show, so it's going to be very conversational, fun, unscripted, and it's just the way we like to roll because it's live streaming.
And it's who we are.
It's true. It's actually
it's very much. I feel like some of our best stuff, Ed, comes out of this unscripted. Just we're here and it flows and it's fun. So I'm glad we decided. When we originally were talking about it, we teeter-tottered this like scripting it out, having like detailed notes, and then we landed on this because it's a fun, engaging way, and it's a lot of what Ed coaches people on is this live video and being present and showing that relatability. So I think it's a cool way to kind of tie everything all in.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that ties into our topic today about building our sphere of influence. And I'll have you talk a little bit more about like what is a sphere of influence.
Yeah.
But it's something that when we use technology like we're using here, we're streaming from a desktop computer. All of you are probably tuning in most likely from your phone.
Your cell
This
phone,
is
yeah.
something that you have with you all the time. This is what you can use to stream as well. This is what I literally teach my clients is to use this device to do what we're doing to really build up that know, like, trust factor so much quicker online through live streaming.
It's so cool. I love it. I think it's great because it's an easy tool we all have with us always,
And the tool is free.
Free, yes.
Like, of course, you need to learn how to use it, and that's going to cost time and money. But once you know how to use it properly, it returns so much better.
Well, and I think it opens so many doors for you, right? Like when you can really, like I think of my grandparents, they, were home phone people for forever, and then they got an iPhone, and I remember being like, why do you guys need an iPhone? And now, like, my Mima is amazing. She can do so many things on it, and I just think it's awesome because now it's opened a whole new world for her.
Oh, 100%.
Some people holding on to, so that's mentally what it connects for me.
No, and I love that you bring that up because anybody watching or listening, you can let us know if you relate to this, but I really, really stress the importance of no one being left behind by tech.
Yeah.
Like, that's my whole thing is being able to be able to use the shout out to Deepa. Hi, she's watching from Facebook. I love Deepa. I haven't seen her in a while. Sorry, that's what happens with live stream. But yes, when it comes to tech, there's so much, and it's so complicated for so many of
Mhm.
us because if you're not a techie, that's not your
Yeah,
zone of genius, and that's okay.
and you
But
probably don't care as much if you're not a techie.
right, and that's another point. Yes, you probably
Yeah.
don't care, and you know, though, especially as an agent or a business owner, you
Mhm.
know that you need to get caught up with the technology.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're going to get
Times are changing.
yeah, you're going to get further left behind
Mhm.
than you already are, and that's scary. I work with clients around this thought of it is so hard to get caught up because there's so
Yeah.
much going on. And you shared your story about your grandma and learning the iPhone, and I can't tell you how many stories like that are so important for us to remember,
Yeah.
because just because we have the device doesn't mean we know how to use it, and it didn't
Yeah.
come with a human being to instruct us on everything in and out on
Yeah.
there. And so we have to remember that if that's not our expertise, it's okay. We go and get help and ask for that help. And one of the agents that I've worked with before, they had just gotten back into real estate. And so, of course, they're being dropped
Oh, wow, yeah.
into
A
all
whole
the
new world.
technology, right? It's crazy. And so for them, it was overwhelming. And
Yeah.
they felt like they weren't good enough. And there goes my
Mhm.
camera. I'll be right back. Um,
It always waits for right when you're heated.
yes, yeah. It's one of those things that when you are just jumping back in or jumping in for the first time, you're bombarded with all this technology,
Mhm.
and it's stressful, it's overwhelming. You're fearful because you don't know what's going to happen
Yeah.
next. And I don't want that to hold you back. Like, understand that it's not your fault that you don't know it. You're here, you're listening, you're
Yeah.
tuning in, you're curious. Oh, see, that there was a podcast I listened to, and I can't remember what it was over the weekend, but they said instead of follow your passion, follow your curiosity.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that like blew my mind, because when you think about it, everyone talks about follow your
Mhm.
passion, but sometimes you don't know what you're passionate about.
Yeah. Or sometimes
And
what you're passionate about changes or pivot.
yes, and following that curiosity,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to the tech, is huge. So I know we kind of went off on a tangent there, but anyway, the point
Well,
is
but
that
it actually connects really beautifully, because what we're seeing right now in this tech-driven industry or in this tech-driven world is that our industry of real estate is shifting in the tech space as well. And so as agents, even outside of just technology shifting for us on an everyday level, but as agents shift into new brokerages, maybe they started at Coldwell Banker and now they're
oh,
at Keller Williams, or maybe they took a jump to EXP. Wherever they are, each brokerage offers different technology and CRM systems. Not all of them, but a lot of them have poured a lot of money into tech and CRM systems so that agents can build out their sphere of influence and current client base.
yeah,
And so that you bring up such a great point about not being afraid of the technology, because I'm a Keller Williams agent. I have been my entire career. I love it there. And in the role that I serve with client care, I have the opportunity to live and breathe in a lot of different CRM systems. And I hear this a lot where agents will say, I don't understand my CRM system. Can you set it up for me? Which is great. I'm here to be a resource, and I love getting to do that because I know the return on your investment is
yeah,
going to be exponential, because just having your database somewhere is a game changer.
yes,
And applying your principle of no person left behind, I love that, because I think so often agents are like, I'm just not tech savvy, I don't understand, so I'm not dabbling in it. Well, hey,
right,
there's people out there, and I'm not even just talking Ed and I to help you, but there are
yeah,
people out there. There are people in your brokerages that will train on that. So don't be overwhelmed by the tech, but take it bite by bite. Maybe learn one new thing a week,
yeah,
and really live in that and what's available to you, because some of these CRM systems do
forget
so
it.
much.
Yeah,
Like it's honestly amazing. They can text for you. They can tell you when to call. You can list exponential amounts of notes and data and all kinds of cool stuff. It can tell you when their birthday is. I mean, obviously all of this stuff you have to acquire on your own. It doesn't go and do all the artificial intelligence for you. But when we talk about tech, there's a great space for that when we talk about your sphere of influence as well. And it's in that CRM system. So I actually think tangent maybe, but
yeah, no, and that's a good point. And we'll talk about sphere of influence for those who are like, wait, what are you guys talking about? We'll get to that in just a second. But on that same note with the tech and the CRM, let me just say, this is hopefully going to make everyone just feel so much better, because when you think of these CRMs, most of them are expensive and they're very complex. I will tell you, they are very complex. Mm-hmm. And you may be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not tech savvy enough for this. This is way over my head. I'm not good enough. Whatever's going on in your head, stop. Because I will tell you from experience that these CRMs, and you can tell me pretty much any CRM out there, and I guarantee that they have missing pieces that are general, basic missing pieces. So,
oh my gosh, yes.
One example, and I'm not going to name the names, but one example is one that I've used, and I kid you not, it collects the emails. So every time you send an email, it has the information. So it's tied to the client, which is great.
Yeah.
You're like, awesome. I can go, I can see Amanda, and I see all the emails listed.
Perfect. Yeah.
The problem, and this is, in my opinion, basic email 101 tutorial. The problem is that I can only see the email that was sent through the program. Mm-hmm. I cannot reply to it. Now, I don't know about all of you, but probably since email started, you're always at least replying once to an email, especially if it's one that you're trying to follow up on. Say,
well, if it's a connection.
Yeah.
Like if you're telling me about the Bath and Body Works sale, I might not respond. But if you're, hey, just following up, how are you?
Yeah. Well, and if I send you an invoice right now, through my program, and you were like, oh, I didn't get the invoice. Well, I'm easy enough. I can go to your file and say, oh, well, it's here. Let me re-email it to you.
Yeah.
I can't even respond to that. I have to send you a fresh new email. Mm-hmm. That stuff blows my mind, you guys. And I'm the techie. and that's just one. Like if that was too complex for you, one more example, and then we'll get to the sphere of influence. One more example. You know how on your phone, you can go to your address book, add someone, and you can add a photo. Mm-hmm. So that way you remember what they look like. Yeah. Well, easy enough, right? On the phone. However, in the program, you can't do that. There's no option for that. You can list every single thing you want about that person, birthday, email, but you cannot add a photo to their profile. The program's just not set up that way. And this is a very high profile, expensive program. So in my opinion, they should have their stuff together.
Agreed.
They don't. And I'm sharing that with all of you because I want you to understand that you're going to run into these troubles and you're going to think that it's you. It's not always you. Half the time, if not more, it's the other program. It's the other thing that they didn't think through, because what happens is you're going to have people who are very, very techie and they have no idea. They're sitting at a desk and they're just programming. They're not experiencing this. They're not necessarily walking through it like you and I are.
They don't have that user and viewpoint. And so it's just what we're seeing is the idea and the implementation without that, let's actually investigate what's happening and see how it feels from an end user perspective. Like reply to or send email. Cool. And that was the goal, right? Probably CEO dude said, hey, I want to be able to send emails. Tech person, very literal, send emails, done.
Yes, exactly. And so that's just something I wanted to share with you. Now, Amanda, what is sphere of influence? I'm going to throw a couple comments just on the screen here, but what's sphere of influence? Because we said that a few times already, and some people might be thinking, I don't get it. What is this?
Yeah. And I'll be honest, when I joined real estate, that was such an uncommon phrase to me that I was like, what do you mean? My SOI, my COI, my sphere of influence, center of influence, what is that? And a lot of people have, varying different definitions of it, but I boil it down to your met people. And when I mean met, I mean like we have tangibly connected. It doesn't even have to be face to face. Like I would consider Ed one of my met people. I've never met him in person, but he's a met solidified connection for me. So these are like your friends, your family, your neighbors that your kids' soccer team moms, and those types of people and connections in your world that already have some kind of buy-in to your right, even if it's minor, even if it's we serve on the PTA, it's some type of connection that you have with people of already solidified relationships of varying degrees that you should continue to stay in touch with, because statistics show that from a sales perspective, if you connect more with those people, you will net more income than you will if you connect with cold people who have no idea who you are.
Yes.
And traditionally speaking, will take less time in the grand scheme of things. Now, cold calls, you might get hot buyer leads who are ready to sign, seal, and deliver on their cash purchase tomorrow.
Will take less time.
In the I'm not saying they're, I have a little.
No, that was me. That was me.
Okay. I was like, I hear myself. So yeah, just generally speaking, it's those met people that you have. And I love this because so many people confuse sphere of influence and leads. And to me, a lead, it can be someone in your sphere of influence, but leads primarily to me are the people you have not yet connected with. So these are your Zillow leads that come in that you pay for. You have no idea who John Smith is. Zillow does, and they just said, call him. Versus, hey, I went to college with this person who lives in my area. Let me check in with them. So,
yes. And when we talk about CRM, it's just kind of a fancy acronym for basically just keeping tabs on your contacts. And
yeah, it's like a fancy spreadsheet in a way.
Yes. So let's talk about that for a second, because we brought up the idea of there's these expensive programs that so many people are using and have heard of, or maybe feel like they need, but maybe they don't at this stage in their business. And so you just mentioned something, what are some alternatives? Because I have another one that I'll bounce off of you. But what are some alternatives? You said spreadsheet.
Yeah, I think here's what I tell is you don't have to jump, like real estate is costly as it is, just getting started, as with anything, right? You're becoming a business owner, you've got license fees and brokerage fees and all of that, right? So all of that startup cost, don't make it harder on yourself and dive headfirst in needing a $3,000 a month CRM. Personally, I would tell you to start anywhere is to start when you're figuring out which brokerage you want to hang your license with, see what they offer, because a lot of them offer it as a part of your brokerage fee. And so that's kind of a cool way to, so like I know Keller Williams does, EXP, a lot of these bigger name brokerages, they have high powered tech that's offered to you included in your monthly fee or the cap that you pay the office. So that's where I would honestly start, because sometimes that technology can help get you ahead really quickly. But I also am a big believer of start wherever you're at. You don't have to dive head first. So I have quite a few clients who come to me initially and send me handwritten notes about their clients from notebooks. And that's the starting place we have. And I'm not knocking it. Start where you're at, right? Find some way to capture this, do what works for you and what's sustainable. And let's keep building upon it. So if you're currently at a notebook and you hire me to help you with your past clients and your database and to help you solidify those connections, great. But let's transition that into a spreadsheet. Let's transition that into a calendar system, right? We'll take these steps along the way if you're not ready for that full CRM dip. I'm a big believer in the CRM because I think it's a one-stop shop. It's really easy for you to see what you do and don't have, but there are also free CRMs out there.
Yes.
So
it's so true.
I encourage everyone to look up all the options. Like I know, Ed, you mentioned you had some, so I would just say spreadsheet, totally fine. As long as you're capturing information, that's all that matters. Free CRM systems, and then look into what your brokerage is offering.
Yes. And you bring up such a great point for everyone, whether you're an agent or a business owner, because on this show, we like to include everyone in that, because we all are entrepreneurs. And so when it comes to the CRM part, Amanda mentioned, look at for agents, where your brokerage is and what you're paying for already. for everyone else, understand that you're paying for some kind of program that might already have that option built
Yeah,
in. It may not be the greatest option, but it might
that's
be
a
built
great
in.
point. Like
Um,
Google Contacts.
exactly, because a lot of the software that we have, especially these
Mhm.
days, they're trying to be the all-in-one
Yeah.
program. Now, whether it's a great all-in-one or it's not so great, that's not the question. The question here is, do you have something that already
Mhm.
can work for you and can
Yep.
feel comfortable? And so check, if you're using Google, you have your Google contacts. Again, you can use the spreadsheet. You can also use free programs. I think HubSpot is still free
Yeah,
for their
I think so
CRM.
too.
Um, I will say that you could even look into, because I'm a huge fan of project management systems.
Well, I was just thinking Trello.
Yes, you can use things like
Yeah,
Trello. I'm sure Asana has it. I
I'm
have
sure, yeah.
ClickUp, and I know ClickUp has it, and it's
Mhm,
amazing. Um, there's there's all these things that are already out there. You
mhm.
just have to have that hat on of, I'm looking for CRM versus
Yep,
I need a brand new program and I have to pay
yeah.
all this money. Like what? No.
Gosh,
Try and
yeah,
keep
this
it
is so
simple.
huge because I think this is such a deterrent for people and staying up to date with their people. And when I
Mhm.
say their people, I mean their sphere of influence is because they don't have all of these systems. So they don't even know who to call, which is why some type of system is better than none because you can even log notes. This is the biggest thing I'll tell people about your sphere of influence or really any database management is log any communication you have with them. Because
Yes.
the beauty of a CRM system is you can log into it and I can click Ed's name and I can say, last call with Ed was November 22nd, 8 a.m. We did a live video. So if Ed texts me on Thursday and says, man, that started my week off great. If I forget anything, I could at the very least go to his contact record and see that we had a live video Monday at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Right. And or more so than that, if my friend's birthday is coming up, I can log into the CRM system and I can see that it's her birthday. And so it can trigger me to call. And so there's numerous ways you can use it, but I think finding what works for you. I mean, Google Calendar,
Yep.
Gmail, all of that, having that built in alone, because most people are leveraging Gmail in some capacity.
Yes.
And it automatically pulls your emails over. So it's kind of like half the battle. You just need name and phone number.
Yep, exactly. And everyone, we talked about at the beginning, everyone has one of these, and
Mhm.
you can obviously live stream from this. But
Yeah.
here's another thing, especially if you have iPhone, I'm sure Android has it somewhere built in, but you can always download an app if it doesn't. But you have reminders
Mhm.
built into this thing.
Yeah.
You could literally tell your phone to remind you every year or whatever to do that. I mean, it's built into your
Mhm.
Google Calendar, it's built into your iCal. Like,
Yeah.
we're just giving you these ideas of where to look for
Mhm.
things that you already are using or already have in your palm of your hand actually.
Yeah. Well, and
And
here's a great thing I always think about too, because I get this question often.
yeah.
Like when people start real estate, 90% of the like coaching things, that's a random percent. I just threw it out there. But a high percentage of any of the like startup stuff will tell you that you need to build out your database. And what they mean by the database is traditionally the sphere of influence or any real estate leads or referrals that you might have. And the pushback we always get, whether you're on a team, a solo agent inside of an office, I'm sure this is the same across all industries because I'm
Yeah.
thinking car salesman, it's the same exact philosophy. Is they say to get that list together, and that's your starting place. And so often I hear, you want 100 names? I don't know 100 people.
Right.
And here's the reality is you know way more than you think you do. Like if you took your phone right now and your contacts, if you have an iPhone, you can scroll, I think it's to the bottom, and it'll tell you how many contacts you
Yeah.
have. And I think I did that on mine once and it was thousands. And I was like, I can no longer use that excuse. Now, not all of them are people I would put into like, because some of them are like Papa John's Pizza, right? So like
Yeah.
they're probably not in my sphere of influence, or maybe they are. I don't know.
Right.
But you can I would start in places like that or your Facebook, and don't use that mentality of off the top of my head I couldn't name 100 people. These don't have to be your best friends. These can
Right.
just be like, hey, this is my neighbor 2 doors down, but I have his email and his phone number, and we connect every couple of months and we just check in and we talk about lawn stuff.
Yeah. And because that's the thing, it's about having that conversation,
Mhm.
right? Like If we remove all the other pressure, it's about having that conversation, which is why I tell people to go live and use
Yeah.
live streaming, because it's a way for you to open up that conversation.
Mhm.
You may not get anybody that shows up. Listen,
Yeah.
when we started this, we didn't have anybody show up. It was just us, and that's
And
okay.
sometimes it's still 1 or 2 people, and that's
Yeah,
totally fine because we
yeah,
always get engagement after the fact.
exactly. And we also know going into it
Mhm.
that it's not just about this live.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so this is what I also teach out. So here's that lean in moment.
There always is one.
There's always one. And you know what? I might as well just keep up the tradition
I'm
now
gonna
that
start
it's a thing.
tracking when your time for the lean in moment is.
Yes, yeah. It's like it always happens, you know? So here's the thing. At the end of the day, your only job is to show up and
Yep.
deliver some information. That's all you can do.
Yep.
And the best way to do that, whether you're good at it right now or not, the best way to do that is through video, and
Mhm.
more specifically through live streaming. And I'm going to drop this statistic because I thought this was really
Ooh, yeah.
impactful from Cisco, that 82% of all internet traffic will be video based in 2022.
Yeah.
82% of all traffic will be video based in 2022.
Well, and we're getting like attention to everyone. 2022 is in like a month and a half. Because I know at
You
first
read
I
my
was like, that's
mind.
a couple years to go. And then I'm like, hold on, no, that's actually in a month and a half, Amanda. So if
Yes.
you're like me, hello, that's 6 weeks away, not even 5 weeks away. But also think about it like Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikTok. Like I
Yeah.
think about the marketing that I'm seeing there, and it's no longer still image or even just words anymore. It is, we are getting like TikTok, I think is the one that's really kind of leading in the marketing space for this reason right now,
Yeah.
is because if you're scrolling on TikTok, you might see, because it's also an informational platform. It's not just fun, silly stuff, right? And so some people are like, here's my chicken recipe. Here's how to do a dance. Here's a stretch you can do to relieve this, all
Yeah.
this information. You get caught up in there, and they've designed these marketing things that look like TikToks. So people watch them, but really it's marketing. And you're like,
Yeah.
and so if this is the world we're already in, what is it going to look like if by 2022, 92% of marketing is video?
82%, but I will say it will
82.
be higher.
Yeah. But we're already probably like, I don't know, this
Yeah.
is like what, 20, 30% marketing efforts. I'm just pulling a
Yeah.
random number out again. But
Well,
if
and
this
that's
is
the
what that
thing.
looks like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
And that's the thing. I talk to a lot of clients as well as people in the industry, and just people who are curious. Remember, follow your curiosity. And it's one of those things where people will jump to, well, I want to go live, but I want it to be like
Mhm.
perfect and all the
Yep.
production level. And it's like, well, okay, you can do that, but I wouldn't recommend that, especially at the
Yeah.
beginning, because you've never done a live before.
Yeah.
Then you have people who are, I want to do a TikTok and I want to have all of these
Mhm.
great clips, short clips. But if you've never done a short form video, let alone a long form video, it's going to be really hard. Like it's not that you can't do it. You just
Mhm.
need to have the right plan and the right guide to help
Yeah.
you with that, because there's a lot of things that go on before, during, and
Mhm.
after you create that video. It's not just hit the go live button. Like,
Yeah.
we did a lot of stuff even for this, like Amanda had mentioned in
Mhm.
the beginning. We were trying to think through, mostly because of the way my brain works. I was trying to think through of like, how do we want to open the show? How do
Yeah.
we want to have these commercial breaks? Like all these things. And then it was like, no, we're good. We're just gonna
Yeah.
bounce off of each other.
And it's been so fun getting to see even a little bit different than what either of us had really planned, and how it's
Yes.
just kind of worked, which goes to your point of it doesn't have to be perfect. Because look,
Exactly.
Ed's camera goes off almost every time. I am not clearly, or I'm clearly not awake enough today. You can see it in my eyes. Like, but it's fine. It's been fun, and it doesn't have to be flawless in
It's
all
true.
the ways. Your tech doesn't always have to be perfect. You don't always have to have the perfect lighting, and great if you can. And if you can't, it's all about just showing up, like Ed said.
Yeah.
And that
It's
live video is such a great way to connect with your people on Facebook, which, hello, can build your sphere of influence.
Yeah, and I mean, I know we're going to be wrapping up here shortly, but that's the other thing too is
Mhm.
that you said the F word. I know everyone loves love it or hate it, Facebook, right?
Yep.
And it's still unfortunately, fortunately, the number one social network, and it's still the
Mhm.
site that has the most active daily users
Of all ages.
of all ages. So
Yeah.
it's like I know that you have some kind of feel about it, and
Mhm.
you rather be on Instagram or you rather be on LinkedIn or wherever you're showing up, which is great, especially if your people are there. Awesome.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be fair to you if I didn't encourage you to continue to have a presence
Yeah.
on Facebook and to utilize
Mhm.
Facebook Live because it's part, or it should be part of your online marketing efforts, especially your video marketing efforts.
And
Uh,
it's free.
and it's free. Yes.
And
And
it's probably the most relatable coming from someone who my entire business is built around helping stay in touch with clients. So I'm used to the call, text, email,
yeah.
smart drip campaign, like all of that. That's the lane I live in, the marketing efforts, all of that. And the best touch is anything video marketing. I was trying to point to you and I went the wrong way. So this is
Yes.
pointing to you. But I just that's where you connect with people because they see you. Like I just recently implemented this for my own business with my clients where I'm sending them video updates weekly so that they see my face because I was sending them monthly emails. Now we're transitioning to video because it's a connection, right? Even
Yeah.
if it's a pre-recorded, lenders are doing this. So car salesmen are doing this. Hey Amanda, I saw you were shopping online for this Jeep Wrangler. So
Yeah.
we're definitely evolving into that and it's a great way to really hone in that communication with whoever you're communicating with is
Oh,
any
so
type of
true.
video. Yeah.
Yeah, so true. So before we let you guys go, we'll be back next Monday. But before we let you go, two things. One, I'm going to share with you the upcoming workshop if you want to sign up for that, and then stick around because we're going to talk about 3 ways you can build your sphere of influence. Because we talked about sphere of influence, we talked about CRMs, we gave you quite a bit. So we're going to wrap it up here with the three tips basically on how to do that. But first, commercial break. For those who are interested, we are going to be holding a workshop coming up here in December. It's 1.5 hours, so an hour and a half, and it's going to be on building your referral network without paying for leads. I'm going to be talking about video marketing and how you can utilize that in your business, and then Amanda is going to be talking about client care services.
Yeah.
And it's going to be coming up on Tuesday, December 7th at 10 a.m. Pacific. Now, here's the thing. If you cannot make it, that is okay. If you are registered, you will get the replay sent to you. So that way you still get
Mhm.
access to it.
And you can listen to it for years to come. So
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So let us know if you need the link for that. It's in the description. Or if you have any questions, feel free to ask us. And so now, sphere of influence. Amanda, can you give a real quick rundown again of what a sphere of influence is? And then we'll give a couple examples of how people can build their sphere of influence.
yeah, sure. So sphere of influence, just real quick, the short, sweet, family, friends, and people you're connected with. So anyone you know that you've met, that's your sphere of influence.
Excellent. And so, what's one way that you can build sphere of influence that you want to share with people?
I'll say this for parents. I think this is the easiest one, but
Oh,
leveraging the things that your kids do. So like if your kid is on a soccer team, become involved. I'm not just saying, take all their emails and phone numbers and put them in your database and start marketing to them, but
yeah,
get active in it. Maybe be an assistant coach or volunteer snacks or something and start offering contribution to your kids' things, the PTA, all of the, volunteer programs, field day, all of that, and then build those because those are the people who you can almost start working with the kids. The kids will be like, hey, we're moving. Well, my mom's a real estate agent, right? Or my mom's a car salesman. So I would say the number one thing is get involved in your kids or spouse or community, even getting involved in those types of organizations and things will really build up your sphere of influence quicker than anything because you ought
yeah.
90% of the time get a little roster right there. They make it so easy on you.
Yeah. Oh, so you basically gave two, so that's good. I'll
Okay,
give the
two
third
ways.
one, but you gave two. The volunteering with the parents, and then
Yep.
also volunteering in the community. Like that's a
Yeah.
big one. And then I'll throw the third one, and of course there's many other ways, but these are just quick ones for you
Tons of
today.
ways. Yeah.
Yeah. The third one is we mentioned go live.
Yeah.
Use live streaming video to your advantage and build that influence because
Mhm.
you're going to be starting to pick up momentum as you do it
Yeah.
consistently, and you're
That's the
going
key
to
word.
yeah, exactly. And you're going to pick up that momentum, and as long as you're consistent with it,
Mhm.
people are going to discover you. They are going to start to take note, and as we mentioned in previous episodes, you're going to have people who never like, comment, or share your stuff. That's the world we live in, people.
Yep.
That's the world we live in. And
But it also doesn't mean they're not watching.
thank you. Yes. Everyone is watching. And here's something I want to leave you all with is think about what you do daily on your
Mhm.
phone with social media. How many times are you stopping to comment or like a post?
Yep.
That's how many times people are probably doing that to you. So
Yep.
understand that you're seeing everyone scroll, you're scrolling through your news feeds and you're seeing everyone's posts
Yep.
and you're never notifying them. Well, guess what? The same thing is happening to you from
Yeah.
their point of view.
Well, and here's the cool thing is it takes the pressure off, right? When you can think like, let's say I liked 10 posts last night, but saw 200,
Mm-hmm.
right? I engaged with 10, but I saw all of these. I still remember I looked at an Athletic Greens ad. I watched it twice last night, right?
Nice.
I didn't comment, I didn't engage, I didn't share, I didn't do
Yep.
anything, but I saw it quite a few times. And so you can take the pressure off yourself and you'll never know who you're engaging with. And so I have people who I don't know on my Facebook feed.
Right.
And if I go live consistently enough, and this has happened numerous times where they'll be like, hey, I heard you were talking about client care and I'm actually looking for this in my business. And I'm like, what?
Yep.
People I don't know. So don't
Yeah.
be afraid of, oh, the lean in moment happened again. But
Yep.
don't be afraid of engaging in that way because it can have huge impact for you and contributing to your people and then also in your business. So
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, we could go on and on, but we're going
yeah,
to
we
stop
could.
there because we know that you got to get on with your day as well. And we're happy that you were here, whether you're watching the live or you watch the replay or even just listen to this wherever you're at. We appreciate you taking the time. We'll be back next Monday at 8 a.m. here on Facebook and LinkedIn. And until next time, if you need anything, feel free to reach out to us anytime on social, and we'll see you all later. Take care.
See ya.